So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Namaste, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. A very warm welcome to all of you to the Blub World Web Talks 251st episode. In the last 250 episodes, we have talked to, interacted with more than 4,000 school leaders on this very platform where they've shared their ideas, opinions, innovation, and what all new are they doing in the education space. तो नमस्कार, आप सभी का स्वागत है ब्लब वर्ल्ड वेब टॉक्स के 251वें एपिसोड में। पिछले 250 एपिसोड्स में हमने करीबन 4,000 से ज्यादा शिक्षाविदों से बातचीत की और ये जानने की कोशिश की कि वो शिक्षा को कैसे बदल रहे हैं और शिक्षा उन्हें कैसे बदल रही है। बट सिंस टुडे दिस पर्टिकुलर एपिसोड इज द ग्लोबल एडिशन ऑफ द ब्लब वर्ल्ड वेब टॉक्स, so we'll only be sticking to one language, that is English. Again, the Blub World Web Talks is a bilingual platform, so you can use English or Hindi, but I would strongly suggest that you stick to English during today's episode. Today, this session talks about something superbly interesting, which is a comparison between social media and schools with the perspective of who teaches you more. Because we can all see that knowledge consumption, content consumption has absolutely evolved for the human race. We don't listen or read, we right now only scroll. Our thumb works far more than our minds and our eyes. So we consume knowledge in completely different ways. We learn new things in different perspectives, and we need a lot of excitement, a lot of stimulus whenever anyone wants to teach us something. We don't get influenced so easily. People have to put in a lot of production value. They have to shoot amazing things. They have to edit amazing things to impress us. And once we get impressed, then we start consuming content. So what do the school leaders and the teenagers of today think that who teaches better right now, the school or social media, and what do they think will be the future trends of it? We'll try to know this in today's episode. And most importantly, if you're joining us on YouTube, if you have any ideas, make sure that you put that in the comment or send us through messages. If you want to listen to some particular topics in the next web talks, make sure that you send us a hi so that we know that what would you like to listen in the next Blub World Web Talks. Let's start the 251st episode of the Blub World Web Talks. Let me invite the first speaker for today to initiate the session. Let's first listen to a school leader. We'll try to alternate between teenagers and school leaders, but let's start with a far more informed perspective of the topic. A very warm welcome to Dr. Deepti Chaturvedi, the founder principal for Silicon City International School from Mysore, Karnataka, India. Deepti ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes and a very warm welcome.
School is teaching better. Definitely, yes. Now, who is teaching more is something little subjective question, because from where the learnings are picked up more. So here there could be two opinions that social media is teaching more maybe, but when it comes to quality, it is a school. When it comes to quantity, maybe it can be social media in some cases, not in all cases. But one thing for sure is that schools existed, schools are existing, and schools will exist. So there is no comparison about who is teaching better. It is always the schools, because we have the human-centric approach. We can connect with children that social media cannot. Now, I'll explain this especially to teens, those who feel that they are much more connected in Insta and they are more well-wishers are there on Instagram or WhatsApp, or there are so many apps, the names I don't know even all. You know much better than me in that case, right? But when it comes to a problem, when it comes to an issue, you think yourself, no need to answer me, where you rush back. You rush back to your parents, you rush back to your teacher, you rush back, you hold hand of your elder brother or something. Virtual, the only thing is, unfortunate thing is that our teen of today is not able to differentiate between the virtual and the real. The problem is there. Still, teaching without any question is better done by school only, and we can prove it if we are actually go into, even if teens are interested in getting into debate, I am ready for it, but we are much better, we are teaching better, and we are the ones who are preparing you for future.
Thank you so much, Dr. Deepti, for that amazing start. And you're very right when you take the school side, because that's the perspective that elders have. As an educator, as a person who's experienced in the field, you feel that this institution of school and the teachers and the human capital within the schools teaches far more efficiently, far more better. And I think you gave the student a safety net to fall back on. You cannot fall back on social media. You cannot fall back on Google. You need humans for that. There's a very nice saying in the field of sales that, humans only buy from humans. I think it's quite right in the education space as well that it's far better if a human teaches human rather than some technology taking you for a ride. So that's the start of the session. Let's bring in some more spice into the discussion. Let's bring a teenager into the discussion on what do they think, that does school teach more or the social media teaches them more? How is their life currently looking like? So let me invite Miss Srishti Sanjay, who's a grade 11 student from Bluebells Model School, Gurgaon, Haryana. Srishti ji, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Before beginning, I would like to thank the Blub World team for giving me this wonderful platform to learn and grow, and to all of the teens here as well. I'm eternally grateful. And as for my stance, I believe that social media teaches us more than schools ever have. The world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page. But what if I told you that in today's world, social media is that journey, one that takes us across borders, cultures, and realities far beyond the walls of a classroom? School hands us neatly packaged knowledge, textbooks filled with facts, equations, and history written by the victors. But social media, it throws us into the chaos of the real world, unedited, uncensored, and undeniable. It teaches us the good, the bad, and the ugly of society, whether we're ready for it or not. Let's talk about tolerance in school. In school, we learn about different religions, cultures, and histories through second-hand narratives. But on social media, we witness them. We see the struggles of the oppressed communities in real time, hear first-hand accounts of injustice, and feel the weight of wars, revolutions, and movements. We don't just read about inequality. We see it, we hear it, and we react to it. That's not just education, that's awakening. And yes, social media is full of pretense, filters, staged lifestyles, manufactured perfection. But let's not ignore the rawness it brings. It exposes corruption before the news can spin it. It spreads truth faster than propaganda. It forces accountability in a way no school curriculum ever could. Think about it. How many times has social media forced governments to act, corporations to apologize, and people to open their eyes? A history textbook tells us about the French Revolution. Social media starts revolutions. Then there's the worldview it gives us. Schools give us a syllabus approved version of reality, often confined to national borders. But social media, it breaks that illusion. A student in Nigeria can learn stock trading from Wall Street experts without stepping into a business school. A teenager in India can debate climate policy with activists in Sweden. A young woman in Iran can send a message that sparks a global movement. Where else does that happen? And the most powerful thing, connection. Schools limit us to the people around us. I mean, look at this panel here today. Social media gives us access to everyone. We can have real conversations with people we could never meet in real life. We can challenge ideas, break stereotypes, and build relationship across cultures. Knowledge isn't locked in a classroom anymore. It's everywhere, in every conversation, in every post, in every voice that dares to speak. So I ask you, what truly educates us? A system that teaches us what to think, or a platform that teaches us how to think? A textbook that tells us what happened yesterday, or a space that shows us what's happening right now? If education is meant to prepare us for the real world, then social media isn't just keeping up, it's leading the way. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Srishti, for that such amazing and such energetic contribution. And undeniably, you have proved the fact that yes, social media is leading the revolution. Some of the important parts and points that you said, and that must be taken forward in the conversation, it brings in the rawness of society into the life of a teenager. And not only teens, they typically brings in the life of everyone, but yes, teenagers are the ones who are legitimately there on social media. So that rawness is a very important point that you bring to the table. Secondly, it can really give you access. You are not typically, there are no entry barriers, but when you look at the education ecosystem globally, governments control education in any and every country. And why do they do that? Why is there no liberalization in syllabuses? Why there is no liberalization in what do you want to teach? Even when, you talk of the most evoluted countries among US and everyone, there also the school district controls the content. I think some very important points from the school's perspective. There are some more important points that can come in. So let the school leaders speak for themselves. What do they think? Sometimes filters are important. And that filters is something that the school can set. But most importantly, who decides what to filter is something that's superbly subjective and can take the world for a ride at any point of time. So thank you so much, Srishti. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Miss Anna Matanga, the Deputy Principal of Fordridge Senior School from Harare, Zimbabwe. Miss Anna, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you. There is a proverb in Africa, actually in Zimbabwe, which says, a burnt child dreads fire. So when students are using social media, they are some certain things they don't know which are dangers. So for us who are teaching, who are as teachers in the education sector, we have seen such kind of things which are dangerous, which we can teach them to avoid. Let's say, for example, those who are using social media, most of the time you can actually see that they can spend the whole day. Some of them, they don't even know where to navigate and what they are looking for. They just go on social media without gaining anything, some of them. And also, there's a question which was relating to, does AI replace teachers? AI cannot replace teachers because effective teaching requires emotional intelligence, which is the ability to connect with an individual student.
Thank you so much, Ms. Anna. You're very right that most of the people, in the name of exploration, just keep scrolling. They don't have a direction to things. They don't have a filter. They're not there for an outcome. They're not there to learn. They're just there to consume content. And majority of time just gets wasted. It's not sure whether some learning will come out of it or not. You're very right with your points that individual schools, institutions, and most importantly, filters are required for effective education to really come up. And most importantly, when we need a structured society that performs, that works, that develops, that grows, we'll need structure far more just than the content. Social media provides a lot of content, but structure is something that comes from schools. So let's see what the other school leaders and other teenagers have to say on this. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Shingiro Achille Osée, who's a grade 10 student from Agasaro International Academy, Kigali, Rwanda. Shingiro, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
On today's topic, between schools and social media, which teaches more? I am on the side of social media because the first point is that schools follow a strict and rigid curriculum, meaning that it doesn't get updated at the constant pace, meaning that they can update it after like 2 years. On the other hand, social media is changing every time, gives us real life knowledge of new things and life hacks, study tricks, and social experiments. Also, so social media provides a broader and more engaging learning experience. For example, on YouTube, like we can take some YouTubers like Mark Rober. He's a former NASA engineer. He teaches us about physics and problem solving. For him, when he's teaching us, he doesn't make things more complicated. Like you can see in classes, you see like students are sleeping when they're studying because they're getting bored. For him, he just implements some funny tricks you can add into those experiments to make it more enjoyable for students. Another YouTuber might be Dr. Matt, who teaches us about medicine and stuff. For students who are eager to learn about medicine, he teaches them a more funnier way you can approach a certain situation while not getting scared, because medicine is a really scary subject. Because biology, those surgeries and stuff, people can get scared easily. So he gives them like tricks or like ways to approach those situations easily. Another point, as Gen Zs, most of us teenagers are Gen Zs, of course, we have access to internet and we have access to social media, meaning that the world knowledge is at the fingertips. So we have access to any knowledge we need, meaning that we can have way more knowledge or information that we can get from schools, because you don't need to know like physics, math, and stuff like from schools. You also need like finance. If you don't even take finance, you need to know at least something from it, like self-development and sports activities and stuff. For like nowadays, you're starting to see that teenagers are starting to get self-employed, making business at a young age. That is the influence of social media. So nowadays, students are starting to disregard schools and getting more interested in social media, because that's where they get more tips on what they want to do in real life. And there is a question that was asking, does that make the teacher's authority the same, or does it reduce? And I think that it's reducing at that stage, because what the teachers are teaching, the students are not interested in it. They're interested in things that may give them immediate development, also results. So that's my opinion on this topic. Thank you so much.
Shingiro, I think some very important points that you made. Again, social media keeps you updated. People use a lot of very interesting teaching techniques. When you talk of YouTubers, they're taking a lot of effort in making those videos. With the teaching perspective, they have changed the way education really was imparted. They've made it into complete acts. They take so much of effort in bringing out the right props, the right situation. They're taking so much of effort with amazing production teams and amazing production quality that a teenager learns far quickly and consumes so much of knowledge in such a small amount of time, which might not be possible in a classroom. The school has to follow certain structure. They are bound by syllabuses. They are bound by education policies of their governments. So they cannot just go around teaching everything and going overboard. They have to take care of a lot of things. They come in with a constrained set of things that they have to follow. But yes, social media brings in a lot of new knowledge, a lot of interesting content. Some things that might completely bore you in a classroom become superbly interesting on YouTube. So this is something that is changing the paradigm and the expectation of a learner from the educator. Thank you so much, Shingiro. Let me invite the next speaker for today. That what is the thought that school leaders have again on this? Which side would they pick? A very warm welcome to Mrs. Dhriti Malhotra, the Director Principal for Manav Rachna International School, Mohali, Punjab, India. Dhriti ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm
Hi,
welcome.
good evening. Having been a school teacher and a leader for the last 35 years, I certainly go for schools. The leaders of today, or I could say the generation which is leading the main companies of the world, did not have social media on their tips, right? They did not, but they're doing well, right? Right? There was some certain education system that guided them, that groomed them. So definitely schools play a very, very, very important role. Every child has to be, you cannot grow in isolation, right? And if these children feel that social media will give them what they want, they are living in a false world. Absolutely false world. A school is very, very, very essential for that, again, as I said, that emotional and that social growth.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think you bring in a very important perspective of emotional and social growth. A lot of teenagers, they might profess and advocate that, yes, social media is something that will bring the right kind of knowledge, the right kind of content to them. But you have to remember that social media is also driven by marketing-driven algorithms. They don't serve you what's best for you. They serve you what's best for them. Just remember the simple quote in the world of technology that if something is free, you are the price. Remember this, that you are being traded for something, that knowledge is not coming to you for free, that social media is not available to you for free. But you're very right when you say that education is far more exciting and far more entertaining on social media than in a school classroom. So let's know more on this topic, that what do the teens think again, that what teaches them more, the social media or the school? Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Shenol Fernando, who's an advanced level student at St. Thomas Catholic International College, Seduwa, Western Province, Sri Lanka. Shenol, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
I'm greatly honored to speak at this Blub World Web Talks on such an important topic, school versus social media. Who teaches more? A student spending 7 hours in school and an additional 7 on the web. But where do they actually learn more? Today, this is more problematic than ever before. Both establishments shape minds, but they educate in radically dissimilar ways. School has been the pillar of education for centuries. It offers a structured curriculum, mathematics, science, literature, meant to build fundamental knowledge. Here, the analytical capabilities are improved through essays and experiments, with the help of teachers asking the questions why and how. Schools also teach us about socialization, cooperation in group work, understanding in dealing with peers, and perseverance via deadlines. These skills prepare us for the workforce and life challenges. But schools are faulted to be rigid. Standardized testing rewards memorization over creativity. and curricular length behind rapidly evolving fields like technology. But let's not overlook their irreplaceable role. Schools provide a safe space to learn, fail, and grow under supervision, a scaffolded process no algorithm can replicate. In contrast, social media, the wild dynamic classroom of the 21st century. Platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram democratize learning. Want to learn how to code? There is a tutorial for you. Curious about climate change? A popular thread has the answer. Social media teaches real world skills, digital literacy, entrepreneurship, even activism through bite sized interactive content. It unites us globally, exposing users to several cultures and viewpoints in real time. But remember, life travels faster than truth. But used responsibly, social media is a means of lifelong learning, filling gaps that formal education may leave behind. So, who does more teaching? Schools give depth and accountability. Social media gives breadth and immediacy. Consider learning about democracy in history class, then seeing it unfold live on Twitter, or learning biology, then seeing a surgeon's TikTok outlining a breakthrough. The idea isn't to pit them against one another, but to capitalize on their strengths. Schools can educate children how to navigate social media in a critical manner, while sites can supplement learning with fresh perspectives. And to conclude, both are excellent educators. Schools lay the groundwork, while social media propels us forward. Therefore, I think so, schools are the best.
Thank you so much, Shenol. You gave a very good perspective on this, that yes, schools give you the depth and social media gives you the breadth. It gives you the space and time to explore as much as a school cannot do because of geographical limitations. Social media can do that very easily. But I think a very important aspect that you yourself talked about, and I think which has to come into this discussion, nobody takes the onus of your learning. The school does. Social media does not. If something goes wrong, they'll just raise their hands and go away. But the school will stand there and try to fight it out for you as individuals. The most important element or the single word difference between both of these comes down to care. School cares for you, the social media does not. It cares for itself. But yes, it cannot be denied that there are certain things that only social media brings to the table, which makes education go global, gives you access, and removes the entry barriers. It really democratizes education. So thank you so much, Shenol. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Miss Arfa Zoya, who's a grade 8 student from MS Creative School, Akbarabad, Hyderabad, India. Arfa Zoya, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Today's topic is school versus social media, who teaches more and efficiently. So let's be real about this topic today. I mean, how many of us have been learning something new just by scrolling through our social medias? I mean, whether it is a quick math hack on TikTok, a history fact from Instagram, or a life-changing tutorial on YouTube. Social media is teaching us more than we realize. Just think about it. Need help with homework? You can go to YouTube, there is a video on it for it. Want to learn a new skill? Instagram and Twitter threads got it up. And let's not forget about the countless creators, experts, and educators posting their knowledge videos every day. I mean, of course, we have to be careful of misinformation. And if we use it properly and wisely, it can be an awesome tool for learning. And from next time, if anybody says, get off your phone and study, just say them that I'm learning on my social media. That's it for today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Arfa Zoya. And I think one claim that everyone will remember from this is that when you're stuck on your phone and when you're sticking on your screen, you always have the option of telling everyone, I'm trying to learn, give me the time and the screen time. But I think there needs to be a lot more thought around this. But I think teenagers will remember this for sure within this whole conversation. So thank you so much, Arfa. Let me once again invite Ms. Salma Ara Pathan, the principal of MS Education Academy, Hyderabad, India. Salma, ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes.
Being a school leader or an educator, I think I must say that it's not that like only school or the social media is doing. Okay, but as a school leader, I can say that yes, the foundational learning which we get is can only get we can get from school. Whether we have lot of accessibility to internet and many social media, but school always plays a vital role. Why? Because we have a structured curriculum which ensures step by step mastery of concept. Somewhere social media lacks regulation, and moreover, when we talk about school, it always helps the student to be on track. The deadlines the teacher or the facilitator make always helps them that they should be on track. Students are so inclined towards social media that they don't feel the urge to go and have a play around or have a talk interaction. Socially they are not interacting, they are interacting virtually, which is somewhere I think all the neurons are not that actively being used. So I think extracurricular activities, whether it's sports or any physical activity, is also very important. I think in this particular talk show, everybody said everything, but I must say that physical activity is very important when it comes to a development of child or a holistic development of a child. And moreover, we all are that much aware that how much social media is misleading with misinformation and all, and there are a lot of distraction while studying. Last one, but yet important, I must say that always schools takes the accountability and take the responsibility of whatever happens in students life, but social media doesn't take.
Thank you so much, Salva ma'am. You're very right that school brings in the holistic development that social media does not, because social media is majorly driven by the consumer's taste, the consumer's preferences. It'll show you content what you really want to see. It won't show you what you really need to see. So that's a major difference, that, whether you just keep seeing what you want to see, and it's very important to also know the art of things, not only what is. So thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today, Mr. Abdul Aleem, who's a grade 8 student from Radiant Public School, Anantnag, Jammu and Kashmir, India. Abdul, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself, and a very warm welcome.
Today, we live in a world where knowledge is just one click away. YouTube tutorials, AI tutors, online courses are growing rapidly. Some argue that social media is replacing teachers. But let's ask ourselves, can an AI mentor a struggling student? Can a TikTok video teach discipline and deep thinking? Can an influencer truly understand and guide a student's emotions? The answer is clear. Teachers are not just important, they are irreplaceable. First point that I'd like to talk about is social media provides information but not education. Yes, social media can teach quick skills, but learning is more than just memorizing facts. Social media teaches shortcuts, but a school teaches foundations. Teachers help students not just to know, but to understand. Teachers offer more than just knowledge. A teacher does not does more than a lecture. They guide students through struggles, encourage creativity and curiosity, shape character, values, and discipline. Can an AI do this? No. If a student feels lost or discouraged, will a TikTok video help? No. A teacher sees potential in every student, even when they don't see it in themselves. So, has social media made teachers less important? Absolutely not. In fact, teachers are more valuable than ever. Social media is a useful tool, but it cannot replace our teachers. Social media can give answers, but teachers help us how we can think. Social media can entertain, but teachers shape our discipline and character. Social media may be fast, but education is about deep learning and discipline. The future of education is not about replacing teachers with screens, but about using technology to support, not substitute our teachers. Let's not forget this point. It's not social media that builds the future, it's teachers.
Thank you so much, Abdul. Some very important points that you made. And I think this is where this discussion really comes to, bringing it together as a picture, that you'll need that teacher to take you to a place where you get wisdom. Your transformation will happen in school. Your skilling can happen online. It's not just the skill that you're developing in the school, it's your character, your wisdom, your understanding of the world, what's good for you, what's bad for you. So, but there's a very important question that comes up at this point. Now is an open floor. If you forgot something, if you want to add something to the conversation as a speaker, you can do it right now. Before I invite Deepti ma'am, there's one question that comes up at this point. Does learning become far more addictive on social media, or is it addictive in a school from the learner's perspective? I would want more thoughts on it, but let's first listen to Deepti ma'am. Deepti ma'am, over to you for the next 2 minutes. Please unmute yourself.
One is very important for teens to listen. Okay. There is a tap, open tap, which cannot be repaired, and the water is flowing with full flow from that continuously. Right. Now, tap is not taking care whether there is a bucket or not, whether the bucket is clean or not, whether the bucket is full and it should stop now. There is no selection from the side of the tap. Correct. Social media is that. Water is coming, what is clean or not, nothing. Only it is flowing, flowing, flowing. Correct. Number two, I'm very happy to see the confidence of Gen Z, as they call themselves, but there is a slight line between confidence and overconfidence. Okay. As one person mentioned about the ownership that is taken up by the school, correct. Abdul mentioned about the role of teachers in their life, actually, and I love to hear it from him. The way at this age he respects and he understands the value of a teacher is actually remarkable. The conclusion is, social media can't teach you what to learn, how to learn. That we can teach you. Social media can teach you anything, but how to learn, no.
Thank you so much, Deepti ma'am. You're very right when you say that it could lead you into completely directions which you don't want to get led into. But I think, is fear the response to a legitimate question of learning when it's superbly addictive and superbly interesting on internet? You're very right when you say that you could lead up to the wrong things, you could lead up to misinformation. But is that not the fault of governance? That's not the fault of the learner. So, but we note the point is absolutely taken. Anna, I'm over to you for the next 1 minute. You can please unmute yourself.
I just want to remind the young ones that safeguarding is now an issue. At schools, we are now teaching students how to safeguard themselves, and mostly there is cyberbullying and safeguarding themselves to the school environment and also on social media. Why? Because these guys, they are on social media and they are exploring everything, and they don't even know the effects of what they are exploring, some of them, and that's affecting them emotionally and their social well-being as well. Then the other thing maybe I want to highlight is for the teachers at school. Yes, social media is teaching, but these are the same teachers who are teaching on the social media, because if you can check, most of the teachers who are putting information on social media, be it YouTube, be it biology, maths, or so, it's the same teachers who are teaching in class. So to the teachers, I can only say innovate or die. So the teachers also have to be innovative enough and they have to be creative enough during the lesson so that they can suit where the technology is going, and also teach the students how to use the social media, how to use AI, incorporate that during teaching of your subject.
Thank you so much, Anna. I mean, you're very right. We'll have to innovate ourselves as educators. We'll have to work on more innovative techniques to keep the teen or the Gen Z engaged. Because the biggest challenge that Gen Z is facing right now, when you look at the world from their perspective, they can see the world's claims as transparent. Because globally, whether you talk of electorate, whether you talk of institutions, whether you talk of organizations, nobody wants to take the onus. The organizations don't want to take the onus of the employee. The governments don't want to take the onus of their citizens. So now the Gen Z persistently questions authority. They say that you're somebody who's in authority. You tell us to do something in a certain way. You tell that I will be acting in that way. And then you just preach and you don't act in that way. That is why the Gen Z becomes superbly regressive towards authority. But I think it's also a very important time when the older generation should question themselves that are we really putting the right kind of picture in front of them? Because when we even look at schools, when we even look at class, we use all forms of emotion to control students rather than to teach them. We can see the malpractices within our institutions, which we understand we need to correct. A lot the schools want to correct those. I'm not questioning the intention. I'm just trying to bring to light that yes, there are discrepancies that can be changed. I think this is time to bring in democracy in as many places as possible. We'll have to listen more because this generation is superbly empowered with content and they bring in a lot of paradox to every conversation. So are we really ready to deal with them with respect to everyone, all the speakers here? I don't want anyone to feel bad. Teens don't feel bad because schools won. Schools don't feel bad because the teenager gets to keep their arrogance. It's simply about bringing that middle ground, bringing that common space where we can all come together, have far better conversations. And that is what we are trying to do here at the Web Talks and at the World Teen Parliament. Let's have better conversations. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of the Blub World Web Talks. This was the 251st episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, and if you want to attend the future sessions, open your audio and say a big yes. Thank you so much, everyone.